Well, let me share with you my perspective. India is today one of the most attractive opportunities for renewable energy investment anywhere in the world. As far as policy is concerned, at least I believe that the government of India is extremely committed to promoting new energy, and among all countries in the world, we have been proactive, unlike the past, and I believe that we are at the leading edge of policy development, and all of these policies are transparent and pro-consumer. And the commitment begins at the highest level from our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi himself, right from the days of Gujarat. As you know, he is a big proponent of renewable and clean energy. The government is proactive in meeting the financing needs of the new energy sector. The recent announcement in the union budget about the launch of sovereign green bonds is a step in that direction. India achieved its target of 40% power generation of renewables, right, of the target that it had set for 2030 in 2021 itself. And I believe that we will be ahead of this target. India aims to achieve 500 gigawatt of renewable power capacity, which I'm sure we will meet. So right now, on the basis of what I see, I am very optimistic.
Wonderful. No, this is very, very reassuring. Mukesh bhai, you always tell us about speed, scale, and sustainability, in which again, Reliance is a leader. So coming to India, what are the other factors that will favor India's transition to new energy with speed and scale? Because time is that of the essence, and impacting the largest number of population is the big challenge. So what are those factors for fast transition?
So Dr. Mashelkar, as you and I both believe that, India's progress is unstoppable. We will become a $5 trillion economy. We will become a $10 trillion economy. We can only argue about whether it will happen in 25 or 27 and whether 10 will happen in 2030 or 32. So when that happens, right, the quality of life of every Indian has to improve. Today, our per capita energy consumption is 1/3 of the world. I think that for quality of life of all Indians, right, we will have India's own domestic demand for energy will be enormous. Indians are already known for having one of the most eco-friendly and sustainable lifestyle. An average Indian's annual carbon emission is about 1/5 of the average Chinese or 1/8 of the average American. So even if it increases, we will be able to meet it. In fact, an average Indian's carbon emission are less than half of the world average. Indians won't have to make too many lifestyle changes to become carbon neutral. India's per capita income, while today is about $2,000 compared to Europe's $38,000, I believe that progressively we will reach $10,000 per capita in the next 15 to 20 years. And this will increase our energy demand. And at the same time, we will be able to meet our incremental energy at affordable rates because of the progress that we are making in technology and because of the abundance of renewable resources that nature has blessed our country with. So I believe that India will be among the fastest growing large economy, and our energy needs are going to double in the next couple of decades. India will overtake the European Union as the world's third largest economy, in my view, by sometime around 2030, 2032. So India has to address its triple challenges. One, India must increase energy output to drive double-digit GDP growth. And we have to do it at an affordable basis on the use of technology. Second, India must increase the share of green and clean energy in this enhanced output. And third, India must. This, of course, cannot happen overnight. For the next 2 or 3 decades, India's dependence on coal and imported oil will continue. But we must have a plan to eliminate that in the next 2 or 3 decades. Hence, in the near and medium term, we will have to follow low carbon and no carbon strategies of development. Affordable and abundant supply of clean energy will enable every Indian an improved standard of living without disturbing the ecological balance. And this generation has the responsibility to put its successive generations on a path whereby we remain perpetually clean. We have the responsibility of being the transition generation.
I think this very, very exciting. As a scientist, as a technologist, I look at these grand challenges and find them extremely interesting. The issue is the following. I mean, there are all these new energy technologies, some of which we are creating, some of which we are adopting. But again, the essence is doing it swiftly. So do you think India can embrace these new energy technologies swiftly?
Well, I think that from my experience and my perspective, right, this is modular and decentralized. When we build centralized plants, or when you even build, say, nuclear plants for energy, right, they take a lot of upfront design, they take a lot of infrastructure, and they take between 4 and 6 years. What happens in the decentralized energy world is, yes, you take some time to innovate, get the product right, but then there is modular execution. So this is the same as exponential change, right? So we all know that exponential, if you walk 20 linear steps, you'll walk 20 meters, right? If you walk 20 exponential steps, you'll go 20 times around the earth. And clearly, I think all of us will be surprised by the rate at which this technology catches up, because it is decentralized and modular. Right? Once you have the right efficiencies, then you don't need to really, it is, and I say it very simply to all our people, that this is about everybody can run on their own speed at their own things. You're not holding hands and running so that everybody doesn't fall down at the same time. And that is why it's a completely different execution style. And I'm a believer in decentralized execution.
Yeah, Mukesh bhai, right from Papa's time, phone call at the cost of a postcard, to your days when you said voice is free, you always set audacious targets. And I understand you have recently announced such an audacious target for, I don't know, maybe sort of we can talk about it, this 111 target that has excited the whole world.
We really believe that in the next 1 decade, right, we have to shoot to make sure that we bring about all these technologies that I mentioned to produce hydrogen at $1 a kilo, and make sure that we transport and convert it also at less than $1 a kilo. And so that's really from my point of view, I am your chela, so I am Professor M.M. Sharma's chela, so I like first principles. And fundamentally, this is as near to stoichiometry as we can get. So we have left not much space. So if we can do this, we cannot do any better. And I have always believed that aiming high and failing is allowed, but aiming low is not allowed. So that was the reason behind this impossible goal. Whereas, as we work on it, it doesn't look that impossible. I think that we will be able to do plus minus 20% of that, but aiming high is always good. Thank you, Dr. Mashelkar. As usual, it was always an engaging and engrossive conversations. And I just wanted to summarize my 5 key messages for your audience. Mm-hmm. First is that the climate crisis is an existential crisis for the planet Earth, and the entire world must overcome this crisis with the highest level of cooperation and partnership. The second is that we as humanity and the world must make a rapid transition from old energy to new energy, which is necessary for mankind's larger transition from an industrial revolution to an ecological or an earth-friendly revolution that we must all embrace. The third is that India will lead this transition from fossil fuels to green and clean energy and will become a leader of solar and hydrogen energy in the coming decades. It's an opportunity worth seizing for India as we march from our 75th anniversary of India's independence this year to our centenary in 2047. Fourth is our young and super talented entrepreneurs will make India a green energy superpower in the next 20 years in the same way that India became an IT superpower in the last 20 years. And finally, the fifth is that we at Reliance are deeply committed to playing a leading role in creating India's green economy with large-scale generation of green employment opportunities across India. And I once again wish everybody at the Pune International Center my warmest greetings and thank you very much for inviting me for this chat with you, Dr. Mashinkar.
તો ભારત ભવિષ્યમાં ગ્લોબલ એનર્જી લીડર હશે અને ભારત એન્ટરપ્રેન્યોરલ સ્પિરિટથી ભરેલો દેશ છે. ભારતની અંદરની જે શક્તિ છે તે 2030 સુધીમાં ભારતને દુનિયાની અંદર ત્રીજી આર્થિક મોટી શક્તિ તરીકે બહાર લાવશે. એશિયા ઇકોનોમિક ડાયલોગની અંદર રિલાયન્સ ચેરમેન મુકેશ અંબાણીનો આ સંવાદ આઈટી ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રી માટે પુણે એક મોટું હબ બન્યું છે તેવી પણ વાત તેઓએ કરી.